Awareness of narcissistic abuse will break you free. Awareness of what narcissistic abuse is will break you free. You learn, you educate yourself, you become aware and enlightened, you break free. All right? If you've been with a narcissist, you've heard about something they call the devaluation. The devaluation is that stage where the narcissist, they are fed up with you. They are hoping to discard you, but they don't know how to do this. So they are finding different ways that they can use to get you out of the way. It does not matter what you do, it's not enough. It does not matter how nice you will become. It doesn't matter. You can do what you want. It's not enough. I remember, so that time I cleaned the house. Very nice cleaning, spotless. I was in the devaluation stage, so I cleaned the house. And I was thinking that, so now this person is going to be impressed, you know. You're a woman, you have a man who can do those things, clean around, tidy up everything. I was thinking this person is going to be impressed. The knock didn't even wait for me to arrive home, to reach home. The text message came. Why did you leave this little piece of meat under the sofa? The reason why I share these things with you, because I want to make you understand that I know what I'm talking about, okay? I'm not here to gaslight you. I'm not here to take you on a trip. This is a vlog video, so you guys have to be patient. We are going to be discussing different things. So it helps you realize that I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm saying. The narcissist didn't wait for me to arrive home. There was a very slight, was it a small piece of meat or a sausage? I don't even know if that knock was not the one who put it there. Because you see, when you're going through devaluation, the narc is going to find anything they can, anything, big, small, it doesn't matter, anything. And they're going to attack you. But you see, you guys can see I'm sweating. I'm having a little walk. The narcissist is going to bombard you insult after insult. Insult after insult. When there's nothing to insult, they're going to insult the pet. If there's nothing to insult, the pet is not around, they're going to find anything that has life in it. That's why you know that you're dealing with energy vampires. Anything that has got life in it, they're going to insult because they need that is fuel. You see, the very moment when people start to understand narcissism is a spirit, okay? That spirit doesn't recognize you, your emotions, your needs, and the things like that. That spirit, the only thing it's after is energy, validation, attention, anything that can make that spirit feel alive. Because you see, it's a dead spirit. Is why you hear people talking about the dead eyes, the black eyes. is a spirit. Anything the spirit can do to get any form of energy, fuel, to keep it alive while operating within the narcissist, it will do it. The thing which helped me to break free when I understood that spirit, I forgave the narcissist straight away. You guys, you see me doing these videos and you think I have anything against the narcissist. There's nothing. I forgave the narcissist instantly. Because I was like, okay, now I get it. I'm not dealing with a regular human being. You know, this is something beyond human understanding. I forgave the narcissist. I moved away, I left the vicinity. I started my healing. I didn't look back. The devaluation, that spirit has reached that stage because you see, when they are describing to you the narcissist cycle from the love bomb and all those other processes which follow, you know, trauma bond and this and whatever, devaluation, discard. When they are describing to you those cycles, basically what they are trying to tell you is that you should be prepared. So this is like a preparation because there is going to be a certain stage where you reach a certain part of the cycle so you can recognize it. The devaluation also is a cycle, okay? The devaluation is a cycle, is a part of the cycle. So when you reach that stage of devaluation, even from a spiritual perspective, the demon is very close because you see, the end game of everything is to break you. That is the end game. We're talking about narcissistic abuse. We're not even talking about we're not talking about abuse and trauma and all those things. We're talking about breaking. The end game is to break you. Because you see, why is the narcissist breaking you? The narcissist is breaking you because of your indifference. You are empath. You feel things. You understand things. You have time to process stuff in your mind. You have time to figure things out. You have emotions. You can feel things. You can. So they use that as an advantage to get that emotional supply from you. But now the thing is, at the end of the whole game, you have to be broken because they cannot move on after you and go to somebody else when you're still moving around. You know, for you guys have been discarded, separated, and now you can just go ahead and find somebody new, move. They don't like you alive. The entire thing is to break you. I have seen a person that has been broken by a narcissist. Many years ago, I didn't understand it. I didn't understand what it was. But now I understand that this person was abused by a narcissist. That person we were talking about broken. I don't know, it will be by God's grace if that person will ever get up. But the person was broken beyond repair. You see, chosen ones, God is going to send you in some of this narcissist life to teach them a lesson. God is going to send you strategically into this narcissist's life. So they will come around and they think they are doing whatever, destroy and abuse and all those things. But they are there, you are there to teach them a lesson. I can promise you, after a relationship with a narcissist, chosen ones, that narcissist has never been the same. If they have encountered a chosen individual at some point in their lives and you left them behind, their life will never be the same. They are going to experience the biggest ego death they have ever had before. All the other supplies used to come and go, they destroy that one, they move on, destroy. This one comes in, that chosen one, they try to destroy that chosen one. That chosen one awakens, that chosen one is going to crack that ego very, very bad. The demons at the devaluation stage have reached termination stage. That is where now the whole, they're like they've already got the supply they needed from you. They feel like, okay, now it's time for, to let you go, release you, and probably they can even look for somebody else. So they're ready to discard you. That time is when the whole mask is going to slip all the way down. The mask is going to slip in the sense whereby you are going to find yourself seated in the corner trying to understand, who did I marry? And when did I even get into this kind of situation with this person? Because it is at its worst. There is people that do not survive that devaluation stage. It is very intensive. If you're dealing with these malignant and these psychopaths and stuff like that, it can get really, really serious. So there has got to be some intervention whereby you will be separated from these people by force. Maybe you may run to a shelter, or those guys could be arrested or something like that. But that is very bad. I feel for the people that are in that stage, because I know. Well, for me, it wasn't physical. It was pretty much on the emotional level, but now I understand what it is. That is the moment where the narcissist wants you broken. They have been trying to break you bit by bit. But now they feel like their so-called game has reached its peak, and they are ready to crumble you completely so they can move on. Because a narcissist will never move on properly if they did not break you. So the demons want to make sure that they complete the assignment before they move on. So when you're in your devaluation stage, for a lot of you guys who are just waking up now, you're starting to hear these words, narcissism and everything, you're getting a little of some information here and there. It's time for you to understand the narcissist is at the stage where the demons, they are planning to discard you, but this discard has got to be on their own terms. And before they discard you, they have to make sure there is not even a drop of supply left within you. So they want to make sure that they completely squeeze the last supply, the last bit out of you before they can move on to somebody else. Is why you hear people talking about the devaluation happens before the discard, because now they are planning to discard you, but they need to do it in the most brutal way, whereby they have extremely traumatized you to that extent you have completely lost yourself. A lot of people after narcissistic abuse, they find themselves hospitalized because they have been mentally broken down. There are some of them who even kill themselves. So while our children is there learning about the monsoon rains and the what type of clouds brings the rains and all these kind of things, they're not being told about narcissistic abuse. So maybe when you start to awaken, you start to see the world in a completely different picture. You get a whole different perspective of what the world is and has always been. But for me, there's nothing you can tell me about narcissistic abuse that I don't know. But even then, until this moment, you can believe when I tell you that I still sympathize with them, because I know these are just demons, okay? Because me, I know how to separate the person from the demon. I know how to separate the person. And when you can do that, that is what activates your healing. If you cannot separate those two things, the vessel and the demon, then that is why it's a bit difficult for you, because you are still looking at the person as a normal human being. You are hoping that they are normal, that they can do normal things, but your wishes is not possible. It can never happen, not in 1,000 years. So the demon that influences that person to do the things you do is what you have been dealing with. The demon is the fuel behind the vessel. The person was just a broken person many years ago. They broke down and something happened, trauma and everything, and somehow they chose a path. And that is why they opened some portals. I've done a video for you and I've told you guys that is the moment those narcissists opened portals. Maybe at the time, I don't know what decision they was trying to make, and they opened some dangerous portals and they became walk-ins for these particular demons. Now they are being used to move up and down around the world and fish for supply. So the narcissist is why you hear people talking about supply. So it's very easy to understand it from the 3D when people are talking about NPD, supply and everything, and then they tell you the types, malignant, this and what, and all these other words they have mentioned. So that's, you can kind of get the picture, but you overstand it when you know the spirit behind narcissism. That is where the whole code breaks, because people don't understand that these things that you can fully overstand on a spiritual perspective are what helps you. Those are the key. That is what breaks the code. You have been entangled. It's a prison. But when you can click in with your mind and you understand there's a spirit behind these people, you can now separate the two. And when you can separate the two, you are free, because now you understand you are not dealing with the vessel. You have been dealing with the demon. That is why you break free. That is what broke me free many years ago. A lot of people who are going through narcissistic abuse, they find themselves going in circles. Therapy, this, every week, go pay money, therapy there, this, what, psychologist, this, I have to meet this one, that one, they're wasting time. Not that those guys are not doing anything. Okay, yes, but me personally, as I know, according to experience, it is going to take you a very long time to heal. Because they are not telling you, they're not giving you the information you need to break the code. Okay? That is why you break the code. So you break the cycle. It is broken primarily, yes, by the sessions you go and get the therapy and everything. It's okay, it works. But the real codes are broken when you understand the spiritual element attached. When you understand the spirit of narcissism, that is when you are free, and you are really free indeed. You can go, I've seen people who have been on my channel sometimes, and they, I've been in therapy for a year, and there's this husband I'm dealing with, and this and that. And I'm thinking in my mind, so you've been going to therapy, and you're still dealing with a narcissistic husband, you're still in their house with a narcissistic husband, what, for whichever reason, And the moment they figure out what is going on, they are free. That is when they break the code. And that's when they eliminate themselves, they get themselves out of those situations, because now they understand that spirit. So some of the people that you're dealing with, they're the problem. It is partly because they do not understand the spiritual aspect attached to narcissism. The spirit attached to narcissism. They don't understand it. Or secondly, they're the narcissists themselves. So whatever they have learned or they have covered over the years, it has been limited to this 3D perspective of disorders, because they attach it to psychology. So it becomes very easy for them to find some kind of a name for the disorder. Oh, it's NPD, so you can do like this. When the man says like this, you can do like that. So, you can starve them and you can do this, then you can now you start going in circles. And believe me, indeed, those circles are going to last some years. But the very moment somebody mentions to you that spirit connected to narcissism, the code will break. So I remember, I don't know if this video is not getting too long, but I remember one day I was having a walk somewhere. I think this was a couple of years ago. So I'm walking around and I meet this woman, very, very traumatized and very sad, sitting somewhere. So we are talking. Oh, my husband, this. She's telling me things. So I was about to leave, but something told me, stay behind for a little bit, listen a little bit more. So we're talking, say, okay, marriages. So we start with those marriages, relationships like this, like we starting talking. Then according to her conversation, something clicks, and I think this woman is dealing with a narcissist. So that's when I start to get very interested, because this woman didn't know that I was a coach. So that's when I start to ask her some questions. Okay, tell me a little bit more. Does the husband do this? Does they do that? When this and this happens, does that happen? So I start to feel the puzzle, because this woman was already paranoid. She didn't even know what was going on. So that's when I started to get in on a really much more professional level, understanding level, and I started to connect the dots for her. Tell me, does this happen? Does that happen? This. Tell me about the beginning. Tell me about this. Then I realized that this woman was going through the devaluation stage. That's when I say, okay, now I get it. So I had to sit down and we started talking. And I told this woman exactly what is happening, because I knew that she was asleep. Very nice, empathic woman. That's when I knew that, oh, okay, so this is my family. We need to talk. We started talking and talking and talking. And believe me, on that particular day, that is when that woman broke the codes. Because the moment I mentioned to her narcissism, she said, what? I said, you're dealing with a narcissist. And we started going, peeling off the layers, you know. I started helping her to peel off the layers to understand what it is. That is when she was like, okay, now I get it. You know, I get it. Thank you very much. She couldn't believe it. The woman broke free. She had been years with this man, and the stuff was going on was very horrible, but she couldn't understand what it was. That's when I came in. It was divine intervention. So it's what I've told you guys a lot of times. This awakening is divine intervention. The divine will specifically place certain people on your path, and they're just going to walk in. They deliver their message, and they will be on their way. But that will be the message you need for your transformation. It is the message that is going to trigger your awakening. Narcissism is a spirit, okay? It's demonic. But when you understand how to separate the two, the vessel, who is the narcissist, and the spirit, then you now understand the battle that you're fighting. You now understand that you're fighting the battle of the soul. That spirit is fighting against your soul. The spirit needs your soul by force. If you cannot get it by force, it needs your soul by way of manipulation. Okay? Traumatize and torture, then it can have a hold of your soul. But for the most of you guys who don't know, I've been talking about so many things in this video, but the devaluation is that stage where those spirits have reached. That spirit has reached termination. So it is the time where like the peak. It is the peak of that abuse, whereby everything is going to go waste. And those demons want to terminate you before they carry on with their, you know, before they're on their way. They want to get you out of there before they continue on their journey of destruction. So for the most of you guys at the back, okay, you're waking up. I hope this video finds you at the right time. If it does, and you've seen my video, share it with others in your group platforms and stuff. Like, share, and subscribe. You guys know I do love and appreciate your support. Please book a session if you want to. You might always donate or support my channel if you want to. Everything you need, you will find it in the description below. And until then, I'll see you guys in my next one. Denzo Mo signing out. Much love and blessings. Peace.